Hello everyone. Today we will look at LCM word problems. The three steps to solve word problems, we have already looked at this before. First, we will read the problem carefully and we will read it again. Second, we will break it down into small steps. We will draw a picture to help us visualize the problem. Finally, we will look at keywords to help us identify what we have to find in the problem. We looked at the keywords of HCF yesterday. Today, we will look at the keywords for LCM. We will look at exercise 3.5 today. But before we do that, we will look at LCM in a slightly different way. LCM, least common multiple. What is a multiple? A multiple is when we divide the multiple of a number by the number itself, we get zero remainder. Where do we see multiples? The times table tells us the first 9 multiples of a number. For example, can you tell what are the multiples of 7? So the multiples of 7 are 14, 21, 28, 35 and so on. These are the numbers we get from the 7 times table and all of them are multiples of 7. If we divide the multiple of a number by the number itself, we get the remainder as 0. So 14 is a multiple of 7. If we divide 14 by 7, the remainder is 0. That is what a multiple means. We will now look at factors and multiples. Let us try with an example. You will first try to find the factors of 12. I have already done the prime factorization and the prime factors of 12 are 2, 2 and 3. So what are the factors of 12? We will multiply the prime factors in all possible combinations and we get the factors as 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 and 12. We have already learned how to find the factors of a number. We say 2 is a factor of 12, right? But 12 is a multiple of 2. Similarly, 3 is a factor of 12. 12 is a multiple of 3. 4 is a factor of 12. 12 is a multiple of 4. 6 is a factor of 12 and 12 is a multiple of 6. So what do we see here? We see that factor and multiples are opposites. So factors of 12 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 and 12. But 12 is a multiple of 2, 3, 4 and 6. Factors and multiples are opposites. Remember that when we were doing HCF, we were trying to find the highest common factor. When we are doing LCM, we are trying to find the least common multiple. So that is where factors and multiples come from. Next, we will try to find a connection between LCM and what we already know in a different way. Let us try finding the LCM of 12 and 16. I have already done the prime factorization. Can you quickly find the LCM of 12 and 16? The LCM of 12 and 16 is 48. Did you get the same answer? Now let us look at something. What is the first number you can divide by 12? How will you find it? You can find it by the 12 times table. So the first number you can divide by 12 is 24. What is the first number you can divide by 16? Again, you can use the 16 times table. So 32 is the first number you can divide by 16 because 32 is the first multiple of 16. Now, what is the first number you can divide by both 12 and 16? So we are trying to find a multiple of 12 and a multiple of 16 which is same for both. Can you find the answer? Did you get 48? It is the same as the LCM that we just found. So what does LCM means? LCM is the first number we can divide by both 12 and 16. It is the least common multiple. Let us continue looking at LCM. We found out what multiple is. What is common? Common means the multiple is for all the numbers. And least, we already found out that this is the first number we can divide by all the numbers. So try to remember that when you are looking at any word problems, we have to find the first number that we can divide by all the numbers. And that is what LCM is. We will now look at exercise 3.5 to see how we find the keywords to know whether it is an LCM problem or not. The first two problems already tells us that we have to find the LCM. How do we know in the third problem that we have to find the LCM? When I read the third problem, find the smallest number which when added to 5 is exactly divisible by 12, 14 and 18. I can see that there are two separate parts to the problem. One part is asking me to find the smallest number, and the second part is asking me to find something which when added to 5. So there are two parts to the problem. I will identify the first part. Find the smallest number. So this tells me that I have to find something least. We then look at the second part where I have to find it for three numbers together, which is something I have to find in common. And finally, it is asking me that it is exactly divisible by, which means that it is a multiple. So from these three parts, I can understand that I have to look for the least common multiple of 12, 14 and 18. This is the first part of the problem. But as I said, there is also a second part to the problem, which when added to 5. So we have to find the number which when we add to 5 gives us the LCM of the number. Can you find the number now? Try it. Next we will look at the problem number 5. This part is a similar problem that we have done many times when we are learning LCM. So the problem starts by saying that Prasad and Raju met the market on the 1st of this month. So they have met on day 1. After that, Prasad goes to the market every 3rd day and Raju goes every 4th day. On what days of the month will they meet again? So we have to find the multiple of 3 and 4 because that will give us the day when Raju and Prasad meet again. And we have to find out the first day, which means we have to find the least common multiple of 3 and 4. Finally, question number 4. You will try doing this again, but I will give you a hint. We have to find the greatest 3-digit number which when divided by 75, 45 and 60, the first part says leaves no remainder. What are the keywords we can already see here? Divided by and leaves no remainder, which means we are looking for a multiple. We are also looking for a multiple which can be divided by 3 numbers. So we are also looking at the least, not the least, we are looking for the common multiple. Now it is asking us to find the greatest 3-digit number. How will you do this problem? Let us look at the first part. And after that we have found the answer, we will look at the second part which says the remainder 4 in each case. Try to complete the first part first and then we will look at the second part tomorrow. When you are doing the problem number 4, think. The LCM of 3 numbers is the smallest number we can divide by all 3 numbers, right? So for example, when we are looking at 12 and 16, we found that the LCM was 48 and it was the smallest number we could divide by all two numbers. We're looking at three numbers. What will be the next bigger number that you can divide by all three numbers? So 48 is the least number you can divide by both 12 and 16. What is the next number you can divide by both 12 and 16? Think about it. That will help you solve problem number 4. As homework, you will complete exercise 3.5 today, and if you have any questions, you will bring them to class tomorrow.